In the first part of these talks, I gave some percentages about players in male-to-male BDSM. Just to reiterate what they were. They're aggregates rather than be terribly precise, but I said, and many seem to agree with me, that 90% of people, of players in male BDSM, are submissive, are, in other words, passive. And bearing in mind, so the other 10% or so are active and masters. There is a constituency which overlaps this one, which certainly I don't think goes into masters at all, but some players, and it seems to be rather unspecified, we could say 20% or so, and that's stabbing in the dark, but give you some idea, are swingers. They are not straight BDSM, who are also called swingers, but these are people who actually switch from one role to the other, and sometimes in mid-role, but it's usually a negotiated thing. It's not an area I personally have ever dealt with, because all the people I deal with, they may switch and encounters with other dominants, but with me, I'm not requiring to be serviced in any way by them, so therefore I don't experience their switching qualities, and I'm not going to comment too much on it. It is very much a hot area in some respects, especially in the last 10 years when people were questioning sexual roles. I think actually in this part of the 21st century we're now beginning to revert to a more traditional and I would say considered view of such things, but I won't go into that at this stage. But what I will say is, just take the figure of 90% of people, or 90% of men in this particular case, being submissive or passive. It's notional. But of that group, when I did the survey back in 2002, it wasn't a particularly scientific survey, I have to say, but it certainly gave me a deeper knowledge than one could get from casual reading, or even actually sometimes more educated reading, was that a large percentage of men who said that they were submissive were actually not engaged in dating at all. Even if they said that they were, for them it was really purely a visual experience, and with the advent of video on the internet, a pornographic experience which indulged their range of fetishes from a remote and distant way, in the way that pornography does. So in other words, it's a kind of titivation and arousal, and of that 90% of players, probably 70% of them are in this category. They use BDSM images and social media and sometimes even casual contact as a form of arousal. It's not actually something they actually engage in. And I at one stage used to think this was rather an illegitimate thing, but now I regard it as perfectly legitimate. This is part and parcel of the broad spectrum of human sexuality, and the variety and the right of all to be able to do their own thing, provided it's not harming other people. And I do actually put a proviso in there, not harming themselves, although that's again a contentious area. But I, as a master, draw the line at damage. Though some people may say that some of the things I do are damaging, but I would maintain that they're not.